We got 25 more strawberry plants that we planted in the hay bales around our greenhouse. Put some gardening dirt on them, give them a good head start. I'm thinking we'll only have one more cold week in April and then we'll be free to garden, hopefully. So I went ahead and planted these. It's about the rain, and that way they'll get watered really well too. These are the ones we had planted before right here, and they're still doing really good. Starting to get blooms on some of them. So we should have strawberries this year. Over in our onion bed, it's going to be onions, which we have 3 rows of, planted at different times, as you can tell by the growth. And then down the middle, where the string is, it's going to be a line of peppers. And since we started our plants ourselves, we don't have a lot of money invested in them. I went ahead and planted 1 serrano pepper and 1 habanero pepper out here. And I'll have to cover them if we do have another cold spell. But they're out in full sun, and see if we can give them a better start this way than the ones still in the greenhouse. And if we lose them, we have backup plants, so it won't hurt us that much. Also, over in the tomato, this is going to be lettuce, spinach. You got lettuce down here. You see it all starting under there. Then spinach over on the right. Beets are starting to come up over here on the left. And then down at the end will probably be more lettuce. We just want to space out when we plant it to where we have it throughout the season. But down the middle of this will be tomatoes. And same thing as with the peppers. I went ahead and done some through here. There's 1 yellow pear tomato, 1 beefsteak, Brad's atomic grape, something that's called the gardener's favorite, and then we had a pack of just heirloom variety that we bought, and one of them's those. It could be any heirlooms. And down each side we're going to do marigolds. They companion with tomatoes and a lot of other plants to keep insects away, and it just adds some color to your garden too. So if you've seen our post about the frost, we had a frost yesterday, and supposed to have had possible snow. It ended up snowing around noon, being 60 at 6 p.m. and then frosting that night. Welcome to Tennessee weather. But I came out here in a hurry after 7 p.m. after I got off work to try and cover. These are mainly cold weather crops, but to cover them up to make sure they didn't get damaged. And came out here, I had plastic, which I just pulled off. And I had these laying around. Well, it works out perfect. This, without the plastic, these cattle panels would keep animals away. Most of your birds and all of that, it's going to keep them from digging in it. So it's not a bad idea. I'm going to leave them on there without the plastic. Still allow the rain in, whatever you may have. But the thing that I discovered is with the plastic, it turns this into just a greenhouse. So next year, I can start some of this stuff a few weeks earlier. I mean, lettuce and all of that, I could grow close to year round here in Tennessee covered like this. You just got to allow for water, which I feel like the hay bales will allow. They will draw in water to the dirt. So that may not even be an issue. Over here, you can see these had got a good rain right before I covered them. And I just pulled the plastic off, and there's a ton of moisture in there from where it got rained on. So that worked very well. It gave the radishes over here a huge boost. This is garlic. popping up, and then radishes. And also the peas on this other side. And then down the middle we'll put one of these cattle panels up as trellis, and this will have our cucumbers in it. The peas they don't take long to mature and harvest, so by the time the cucumbers start competing with them, the peas will then be gone. And then the fourth bed is my daughter's gardening experiment. Araya's planted corn in here, which looks like it's just barely popping out. So in about a week, we'll plant beans in here. And then about a week to 2 weeks after that, I have butternut squash. I've already started it in the greenhouse, and we'll bring it out and transplant it in here. A lot of people are under the impression with the three sisters that when they say squash, you're thinking zucchini or yellow squash, your normal squash that grow more in a they kind of stationary plant. They do vine a little, but very little. And what Three Sisters method was more used with was even pumpkins or winter squash, the vine squash. So that's why we chose butternut squash. It is a fall squash, but we're going to go ahead and start it now and hope this fall we get plenty of it. And we're going to have to watch because those squash take over. Pumpkin vines, squash vines like that can just overwhelm everything. So we're going to help. What we'll probably do is if any vines come out here, we will cut them off right here. We'll try first to move them and get them to stay this way. We may have to tie strings to the end of each vine to kind of lead them to where they follow the string, because we want all that squash to come over this side, but the sun's going to be over there, so they're going to want to go that way. So we'll see. It's a good experiment, and I want her to learn all of those things I just told you all, so she'll have fun with it. Back over at the pepper and onion bed, we're also going to do a lot of herbs in here. I think it's basil. That's a good companion plant with peppers and onions, but herbs all together seem to do good with both of them. So in the hay, we're going to dig out little round spots, like in the corners, and then every so often, maybe between bells, we're going to dig out spots and put herbs in there. Probably keep them in pots. That way, when it gets cold this winter, we can just take and pull the herbs out and put them back in the greenhouse.
Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and check us out on Facebook. Goodbye.